Wargaming are attempting to fix their mess up with the newest update coming into World of Tanks and the patch regarding the Marks of Excellence bug that happened last week. Of course, we also have the update news for the rest of the week, so let's get right into it, see what exactly Wargaming are aiming to do next week, and let's get into it. So, first things first. Let's talk about this big bug, as it's pretty important, at least for the majority of players wanting to get their Marks of Excellence back to the point at which they were at. Now, with the week's update, obviously Tuesday, August 9th, Marks of Excellence introduced a change, and they effectively, what happened is that loads of marks were like super easy to get, so you could go from having like 1 mark all the way to like 4 marks in a single game, or alternatively, if you had like 0 marks, you could get 3-4 marks in like 2 or 3 battles, which was just bonkers, to be honest with you. And of course, they are currently still like that in the game, but Wargaming are intending to do something. So let's have a look at what they're actually intending to do. So, Marks of Excellence are calculated based on average damage done on a certain tank. If you can pass a certain damage percentage, you obtain 1, 2, 3 or 4 marks. The unintentional change swapped the average damage dealt on a certain tank with the damage dealt in the previous battle, meaning if you were able to deal more damage than you would need to obtain the 4th mark in one battle, you unlock the 4th mark right away. So, I mean, that's some pretty good double checking before it goes live from Wargaming there. Usually, do you know what? In the whole history of World of Tanks console, I don't actually know Wargaming have come out with that many bugs in the game. Yes, there were like things where you could climb into different places, but actual like game bugs, it's probably never been worse in terms of like how many things come into the game, and they're just not quite quality assured, at least on console, but that's just my own opinion. You know, you guys may be thinking something different, but nonetheless, I'd like to see that improve, just a bit more kind of thought that goes into this stuff before just releasing it into the game, because effectively this just annoyed the hell out of a lot of people in the game, which I'm not surprised at. What's going to happen though? Marks of Excellence are a big and important blah 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 spiel about how they care about the community, blah blah blah. We saw a lot of players getting gold marks, and this is what they're going to do. So Wargaming are going to be effectively looking at 2 criteria. So, did you play a match during the affected window, which was between August 9th, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So that's UTC, so that's like British time pretty much, Universal Time Coordinate, I think, something like that. Anyway, after that, if you played during the updates when it basically went live, you probably affected it or got this effect. And they also have the criteria where you earned a Marks of Excellence during the affected window, or you played a tank on which you have already earned a Mark of Excellence. So that's basically what they're looking at for this. So, what does this actually do? Well, the progression will be adjusted as the following. So for anyone that gained Marks of Excellence, this is what is going to happen to your vehicles, and it's not particularly good or necessarily that bad either. So I think this is probably the best option, at least to some degree. But effectively, the progression will be adjusted as the following. So all Marks of Excellence for these tanks will be reverted to the last known Mark of Excellence position obtained prior to the issue going live on August 9th. So damage ratings for those tanks will be set to the following based upon the last known Marks of Excellence position. So if you have 0 marks, if you genuinely had no marks and you played a vehicle, you will get your Marks of Excellence set at 62.5%. So yeah, kind of annoying, considering some people may have only been at like 10% and they may have ended up getting like 3 marks or something, then they get pushed up to 62.5. Not quite the best system, because I assume that Wargaming don't have a snapshot of every single person's account on every single battle that they play to be able to go, right, this is when the update went live, here you go, this was what every single player's damage standing was at this period in time, and so they're kind of doing it off of, did they have 0 marks, did they have 3 marks, did they have 1, blah blah blah. and then resetting it back to like a base value. So 0 marks set the damage standing to 62.5%, so that's just under the first mark, of course first mark being 65% to be able to earn it. Same with the first mark, you have the damage standing set to 82.5%, which is 2.5% below the second mark threshold, and then 2 marks, if you had 2 marks, you will be set the damage standing to 92.5%, which is very, very annoying if you were very, very close. If you were maybe at 94.8% in the game and then you ended up getting the third mark, which you didn't necessarily want, you weren't trying to bug abuse or anything like that, and then you get reset back to 92.5%. Which is super annoying. Nonetheless, when that kind of get changed, hopefully you'll be able to get your marks. Hopefully it affected you positively in terms of you were at maybe 90%, you ended up at 92.5%, but for those of you players who were at like 94.9%, I feel very, very sorry for you to have lost out on all of the percentage, because as you get higher up, of course, it becomes even harder. And similarly for the third mark, if you were at below 97.5%, you will be, well, if you were at 4 marks or 3 marks, you'll be put at 97.5%, right in between 95 and 100, which is the third and fourth mark, respectively. So yeah, really, really important that you hopefully weren't at above 97.5%, but I'm assuming that if you were in this sort of region, you probably were above the 97.5%, so it's kind of annoying. But nonetheless, you've got 4 marks then, setting the damage standing to 100%. So there are a couple of examples, so to easily explain it, a player played a match with their E100, which was at 2 marks, 84.5% damage standing before August 9th. The match outcome moves them to 4 marks and 100% damage standing. After the patch is applied, they will be at 92.5%, so that effectively moves them still in the 2 mark bracket, but just under the 3 mark bracket, so they basically gained an additional 8%. Now then, we've got example 2, a player played a match in the M48 pattern, which was at 3 marks and 99.8% damage standing. The match outcome moves them to 3 marks and to 10% damage standing. After the patch is applied, they will be at 3 marks and 97.5% damage standing. So, yeah, I feel sorry for anyone that was in this sort of bracket. We talked about this being that if you were at the 3 marks, yeah, it's super annoying. Example 3, a player played a match in their T29, which was at 0 marks and 55% damage standing before August 9th. The match outcome moves them to 0 marks and 63% damage standing. Their vehicle will be left alone and not changed. So if you didn't gain a mark, you will not kind of change it. So it's kind of a really annoying system. It works in terms of like kind of resetting people's marks, but it definitely pushes them up higher for the majority of players, but it was super annoying for anyone who was actually super close to the next mark of excellence percentage, and they literally didn't want any of the extra things. They would have got the 4 mark percentage. It would have been even worse that you were at 3 marks at, say, 99.9999%. You have one game where you do absolutely fine, would have pushed you up to 100%. You end up getting 4 marks, but then, which would have got you 4 marks before the update, but then they're now going to reset you back to 97.5%, even though you would have got the 100% for the 4th mark. Like, how annoying would that be? Yeah, it would be super, super annoying and frustrating. So unfortunately that's the kind of annoying thing, and there is confirmation from the deployment team on when this patch will happen, but it's very likely to be released with the next server reset on Tuesday, which will of course follow up once they have confirmed this. So yeah, looks like this Tuesday, the coming in after this weekend, it will be of course the changes back to the marks of excellence. So prepare yourself from having 100% on your tank going back down to potentially whatever mark percentage you were at. Anyway, regardless of that, we've got of course some changes coming in this kind of week coming up. And here we go. So, upcoming new daily login challenge. So, looking kind of interesting. That you will basically be able to daily challenge for 40 days and will be rewarded with the Tier 9 Kampfpanzer 50T. So, the KPZ 50T. So, this is the Tier 9 German medium/heavy tank. Kind of like a heavium vehicle. Looking forward to this. I would definitely be jumping on, and I highly recommend you guys actually jump on and try and get the Kampfpanzer 50T as quickly as possible. Plus there's other rewards along the way, which will typically be silver, XP, blah blah blah. Nothing too interesting in terms of the extra rewards, but they really do help out with the gameplay. Increased XP earns event. The better you do, the more XP you will earn. Earn 1,000 or more XP in any number of battles to be rewarded with 50% extra XP. So this is something that will just be available for every single player in the game. So if you earn 1,000 or more XP in any number of battles, you'll get 50% extra XP. You can continually, repeatedly do this, I believe. So it's basically an extra 50% XP during this next week. Mythology Key Cards are back, where you can get your hands on some of the Mythology Key Cards if you really want them. My key thing to kind of warn you about these is that they're not particularly that great. Yes, you have a chance at getting a premium card, but I think it's like a 1% chance or something ridiculous. So you're not actually going to be able to earn any of these, to be honest. I think it is a 1% chance to get the premium tanks, so don't open them if you want those. But if you do want a standard commanders and you want to pick up one for cheaper than buying it with silver, if you really want it that way, then yeah, you basically are guaranteed a commander. And you could potentially get some gold, but you don't get guaranteed gold with these key cards, which is kind of a little bit annoying as well. So kind of stay away from them if you're purely after the gold and premium tanks. But nonetheless, yeah, hopefully that was a good enough rundown for the Mythology Key Cards there. But not only that, there is, of course, the contract for the Caboose. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is the KPZ that you can see here. Of course, it's already in the game, I believe, that you can pick up. So for those of you that don't have it, or potentially if you do have it, you'll get the silver equivalent for it. But if you don't, you'll get the tank itself, which is a fantastic tank and definitely one of the better ones. You can see the commanders here. These are the ones that you can pick up. They're basically all of the gods of various different places. You've got Egypt, you've got I think Japanese or Chinese or some sort of deity line from Asia, I believe. Not entirely sure. You've then got, by the looks of things, potentially the Greeks. You've got the Romans, I expect, in here, and various different other gods in here as well. Odin, stuff like that, Vikings, Norse. But yeah, looks pretty decent. Of course, the main kind of talk in this video was, of course, this Marks of Excellence. Let me know what you think about that, and whether you think it was the good and right change, or whether you think it's a cop-out from Wargaming and they haven't really fixed the whole problem that arose. Of course, any marks that were gained will be completely got rid of, but do you think that giving people an increased percentage rather than what they had before, or giving them a reduced percentage, is particularly fair? Yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are enjoying this season, let me know what you think of the Evolution season so far and all of the changes that Wargaming implemented, including the new smoke screen, the commander warning, which was fantastic, multi-weapon systems for the Marrow Breaker and the VK, and the extras as well. If you want to recap over what updates have actually come out in the last couple of weeks, then of course check out the update and playlist for all of the updates on World of Tanks console. And if you want to check out some of the gameplays of the new Season Pass tanks, I highly recommend that you check on screen right now both of those videos showcasing the World War II free premium tank, and of course, or the paid Ultimate Season Pass tank even, and the Cold War free tier 100 reward tank, and you get your gold back by the time you get it, so it's actually free to actually receive it. So there you go. Hopefully that was a good enough review of both of those vehicles, and let me know what you think about them in the comment section down below once again, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.